Mass layoffs are already starting, and it's only going to get worse. If you've seen the news, you've seen UPS layoffs, you've seen Intel layoffs. Soon you're going to see Walmart, Target. All of these companies are looking for ways to fire you, lay you off, furlough you, let you go. Adios, no comeback. Okay? And I'm here to tell you it's only going to get worse. So listen, I know times are hard, but the truth is, like I've been saying for so long on this channel, this is just the beginning. It's only going to get worse. And most of you are not prepared. And so that's what this video is going to be about. Hopefully, I'm going to give you something that'll help you to become a little bit more prepared. And in this video, I'll explain exactly why I believe that layoffs are happening and why I believe it's not going to get any better, at least no time soon, and what you can do to protect yourself and your family financially. In fact, you need to be working on that right now. So this is your homework assignment. When I give you this information, you need to be very, very progressive and start working on this stuff right now. Okay. So, and also, if you don't mind, I'll show you, because I'm going to talk about what you need to do, but it wouldn't be right for me to talk about what you need to do and not tell you what I've done. And so I'll share with you how I built a middleman business that earns money without me doing any of the work. Most of you who watch this channel, you know I own a moving service. You know I don't do any moving. So I got no staff, no crew, no headaches, no trucks, no anything. You don't have to choose the moving industry. You could choose any service industry. In fact, you could go to middlemanceo.com and look at my list of the top 25, or you can just put the word list in the comments, and I might just post it in the first comment or in the video description, where you can see a list of the top service industries that I like: home cleaning, lawn care, moving, handyman services, pool cleaning, on and on and on, things that could get you paid very quickly without you having to do the work. In fact, you don't even have to know how to do the work. And so that's the beauty of it. But I'll show you what I've done with very low startup. And but this will help you. And if you want to get that free training, that free Middleman CEO Blueprint training, just put the word middleman in the comments below, or just click the link that's down in the video description below, and you'll get access to that. And then you'll be able to enroll in the masterclass if you qualify. Yes, everybody can't qualify. Everybody won't qualify. It's only for those who actually want to take that step and get to the next level. So if you watch the training and you qualify at the end of the training, go ahead and get into the training. You have a couple choices. You can do the do-it-yourself masterclass, which is everything that I know about the middleman business. And that one's like low cost, but you do it by yourself. Or you could also get into the VIP, where you work with me to build your business. 99% of the students have chosen the VIP. Up to you, but I'll leave that to you. But we're going to talk about the importance of creating a second source of income, why it's important, why you guys need to be thinking about it. Not just thinking about it, you need to be doing it. So let's get into it. All right. So again, just to hit on what I said before, have you noticed? I know I have. So I'm asking you, have you noticed that things are getting very, very hard financially? Yes, I know it's been tough for the past few years. And I always tell you guys that after 2020, everything changed financially. The old rules no longer apply. Some go back even further than that, but mainly in 2020, when they printed a ton of money. And just to let you know, since 2020, the government has printed, I want to say about $8 trillion. That's what they tell us. It's probably more than that. Not million, not billion, but trillion. $8 trillion. That money goes into the economy, chases the goods that you and I need, drives the costs up. Nobody can afford it. So if you want to look for someone to blame, it ain't the tariffs. I'm just telling you, it's the government printing. But they won't talk about this, and they won't teach you this in school. But that's what's going on. Where else did the money come from? I'm just saying. So, all right. So why I believe that layoffs are coming. Not just layoffs, mass layoffs. Somebody say mass layoffs. So a few reasons. I'll just run them down to you. Number one, and again, none more important than the other, but I'll just give you my list. Number one, companies are cutting costs. This is going to put you in a very, very hard position financially, because no matter what you bring to the company, and I'm sure you're an asset, the companies are looking to save money. So the first place they're going to look is the expense column, and bingo, that's where you are. And whenever I had a job, I haven't had one since 2020, thank God. And I never want to have one again because I don't like people controlling my time or my money. But to each its own. Companies are going to cut costs, so you're going to start to see a lot of integration from AI. So a lot of AI is going to come in, a lot of automation is going to come in, and there's going to be, you might hear the words corporate downsizing. If you hear that, just know that your job is not safe and it won't be long. All right, so number 2, I just hit on this, I'll hit on it again. Trillions printed, not millions, not billions, trillions. These fools printed trillions of dollars, knowing what it would do to the economy, knowing it would cause inflation, knowing it would bankrupt the middle class, and they did it anyway. Inflation just means that your paycheck buys less. So I always tell people, by the way, everybody knows what inflation is now, don't you? So I always tell people, listen, even if your salary stayed the same, you took a pay cut. And people will go, they'll email me, text me, message me and say, no, my salary is still 50 grand a year. And I'll say, the problem is you're looking at the quantity, the number on the paycheck still says 50 grand, but the quality has decreased, where now that 50 grand feels like 30. You go in the store, you spend $100, you walk out of the Tom Thumb grocery with 2 bags. I know. And we're blessed to be in a position, my family and I, we weren't always this way, but we're blessed to be in a position where we can go in there and get what we need and we don't have to look at the cost of it. But even me, because I come from a really poor background, I look at it and go, wait, what do we have? What did we get? What's in this bag? Did we buy a gold bar? What happened? That I came in here to get some fruit and vegetables. Did I buy a motor? What? Did I buy a transmission? What did I do? Did they change my oil? What happened? So, by the way, side note, you can go to like the malls here in Dallas and I've never seen this before, but I thought it was a cool idea. While you're shopping, you can have your car detailed. There's a detailed car section. It's crazy. Anyway, if you live up in Frisco, you know what I'm talking about. So, number 3, global uncertainty. Now, what does that mean to you? Well, you're seeing it all over the news. It's not a good thing. It's a bad thing. But I'm afraid it's just going to increase, and that is wars. Yes, wars cost a lot of money, drive the cost of everything else up, scare people to death. When I could even add storms. When storms show up, I'm from South Louisiana. I do live in Dallas here now. But when storms used to show up like hurricane season, which is now in South Louisiana, which I don't miss. Hurricane season, you see a storm in the Gulf. Hey, it's projected to hit the city or the state by this day. What happens? All the stores are just bomb rushed. The water's gone, canned goods are gone, everything you'll need after the storm. Batteries are gone, everything. Batteries, water, canned goods, bread, all the things that you don't need to cook and you can keep for a while and live off of, those things are long gone. And so people get prepared when there's fear. And then the storm will, by the grace of God, it'll go somewhere else. Or it'll go from a category 5 and that morning it hits land as a category 2. Thank God for that. And because they're not fun. When the storms are over, that's when the rebuild begins. And it ain't fun. I've gone a long time without power, without having access to I don't even want to think about it. So long gas lines, waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning just to get in the gas line that's a mile long, just nuts. Goodness, thank God I live here in Texas. And no, we have not had any tornadoes near me, okay? Thank God. So global uncertainty, wars, supply chain issues. Supply chain is simply where the product starts. So you might buy, I don't know, wool or sugar. And the sugar's got to come from somebody's sugar cane. Then it's got to be grown. So whatever it's going to cost a farmer to grow it, maintain it, get it to the factory so they can, I can't think of the word, will convert it into something that you can use, ship it, package it, ship it, move it across the country, move it across the world. That's the supply chain. It costs money, and by the time it gets to the store shelf, it costs you more because it costs them more. So the cost gets passed down to you. If it costs me $5 to print this shirt, I'll sell it to you for 10. But if it costs me $10 to print this shirt, I need to raise the price. I'll sell it to you for 20. And so that's supply chain. And so that's what happens. Recession fears. People are afraid of recessions. They know. I believe that a recession is voluntary. I believe you do not have to participate in the recession. If you see it coming, you can prevent yourself from being a part of it. But a lot of people like to wait until they're in the water, into the deep water, and then they want to do something about it. My advice is a recession is like a tsunami. When you see the water going out on a tsunami, when the water starts leaving the ocean and just going out, you're like, where did the water go? Then you know something bad is about to happen. You know that tsunami wave is about to wipe everybody out. Well, you're seeing that now, from the stock market to layoffs to inflation, just, from the what I call hyperinflation. But you're seeing all these things now. Banks paying no interest, teachers getting laid off. You're starting to see this instability now. The yield curve, the debt ceiling, Moody's lowering the grades. I'm not going to get into all that stuff, but just understand it's all a part of the ingredients of this financial gumbo. And it ain't going to be New Orleans gumbo. It's going to be something else, and you don't want something else. And so don't get me started on that. And so when you see all this stuff starting to happen, war, supply chain, recession fears, stock market bouncing around, and it's going to come down hard. Housing market struggling because houses are overpriced, overvalued. All of a sudden, you need to understand, wait a minute, sound the alarm, something bad is about to happen. And so you need to be prepared. Hey, I'm seeing layoffs in my department. I'm seeing the tsunami wave go out. I know what's coming. I'm seeing the water go out. I know tsunami is coming. They're starting to lay people off in my department. I need to get prepared. Hello. So I need to get prepared now. What did you say, Sean? Start a middleman business, create another source of income. Bet. Say more. Teach me how to do it. And then you're on the right path. And it doesn't have to be starting a middleman business. It could be anything. You could get a lawnmower and start cutting yards. You can start painting. You can start doing a bunch of other things. But the important thing is the lesson of making money without needing a job. Is that fair? All right, let me know in the comments if you guys agree or disagree. And so the global uncertainty is going to put people in a lot of tough positions. Number 4, corporate greed. Yes, I've been saying it. A lot of this is just corporation greed. When Intel is having record year profit-wise and lay off almost half of their staff, that's corporate greed. UPS is doing fine, but because of what they agreed to a couple of years ago, now they're starting to go back and look at my last video. Now they're starting to lay off all their employees, all their drivers, right? It's corporate greed. When you see an apartment that you live in, right? and I know from experience, if you live in an apartment, because supply chain is when they have to do something and something comes from somewhere else and it's got to get to you and it costs more, so it's going to cost you more because it costs them more. When you move into an apartment and it's the same apartment, and then after the lease is up, they try to raise the rent by $500 and you go, why? What justifies this? You didn't change. It's the same floor. It's the same windows, same walls. You didn't paint. It's the same bummy air conditioner. It's the same refrigerator, the same cabinets, the same sink, the same bathroom, the same microwave. I mean, what did you do? They didn't do anything. To me, that's price gouging. Let me know what you think about that in the comments below. So corporate greed, businesses keep profits high by doing what? Cutting labor costs. And when they cut labor costs, that's you. And so when people get laid off, just understand it's not just that person. It's the family. Everyone who was eating off of that check, everybody, every single person who would get anything from that check. And it's not just in the house. It could be, your child taking piano lessons, swimming lessons. That has to be cut out. It could be going to see a movie. The movie gets cut out. The restaurants get cut out. The store that you used to frequent it gets cut out. The gas station that relies on you, they get cut out. So it's on and on and on. So just understand that. And the last thing I kind of touched on this, the 8 billion, probably more than that. Then they don't tell us everything. By the way, the government brings in less money than it spends. Think about that. They're always talking about how these politicians are great and they know everything. And it's not just the ones who are currently in office, it's all of them. I always tell people, listen, it's okay to vote and you should vote. Vote for the best candidate according to the things you believe. Don't worry about what anybody else says. Do what's best for you. But understand that these politicians are going to take care of themselves and theirs first. And you need to do the same. So debt crisis, government and corporations overloaded with debt. That's why I knew when the former president said or teased you saying that they would cut student loan debt, I knew it was an impossibility because there's too much debt already. And one of the biggest ways, in fact, why would they cut their own product? Think about that. They were lying the whole time. This is the carrot in front of the horse, or in this case, the donkey. You know what I'm saying? And they were just teasing you the entire time that, hey, we're gonna get rid of this. I'm telling you, make sure you show up in the polls. And I knew they would drag it through the polls because they needed your vote. And that didn't work, and they just they just forgot the Constitution. And just I don't know, what did they do? How did they get the vice president to run for presidency with no votes, no primary? It was almost like they were on American Idol. And Simon just said, we'll see you in Hollywood. But instead of Hollywood, he said, we'll see you in Washington. And she was put on the pedestal. Like, to me, what are we doing? Why? People didn't go nuts? What? You can't do that. I'm not saying she's the right or the wrong candidate. If you watch my videos and you understand my mindset, you already know how I'm voting. But again, I'm not mad if you voted for an opposite candidate of me. The freedom to vote is what this is about. Go out and choose the best candidate for you. I'm gonna do the same for me. And so, how did I get on that? Anyway, I digress. But again, debt crisis, governments, corporations overloaded with debt. They're trying to get rid of this debt. The government is bringing in less money than it's spending. That's how you get a 30. Gosh, what is the debt today? Let's look. Let's look it up. This is going to be scary, y'all. I'm telling you, this is going to be scary. Let me see. Government debt today. Woo-wee. All right, so it says today the government debt is at $36 trillion. Imagine writing an account, a check from an account that's negative 36 trillion. God. Bonds in trouble. I'm not going to get into all that on this video. They're going to 40. They don't even care anymore. But understand this. When they print money, your money dies. My money dies too. That's why people are looking at Bitcoin. Like we're getting away from this dollar. Y'all just keep printing it. It won't even be good for toilet paper in a while. Robert Kiyosaki calls it toilet paper. I tend to agree. They're going to keep printing this until they can't print it anymore. And I think you're going to have a complete collapse of our economy. And that's sad because it's going to hurt a lot of people. But here's the other thing. I think it's needed. I think it's necessary that we have that reset. Because if we don't, they're just going to keep doing it. So just understand. Let me see. How much does it, I want to find out really quickly. I want to find out how much money does government make, does the U.S. government make from student loan debt? Let's see. Gosh. Man, this is nuts. I don't know how true this is. I have to check all the sources. Whew. Man, How much does the government make? So right now it's looking like 1.6 trillion. That's crazy. Student loan debt 1.6 trillion. Let's see. On taxes, on income tax. What are they making on income tax? So 1.6 trillion. That ain't even billion, that's trillion. So on individual income tax, 2.4 trillion. So payroll taxes 1.7 trillion. Man, the government is just making money through taxes. We already knew that, but I didn't know these percentages. So on individual income taxes, that's pretty much half of the government revenue. So I know this country was founded on no taxes. I'd love to go back to no taxes, but the government, that's 50% of the government's intake. So they're not getting rid of that. Payroll taxes, another 35% of the government's intake. They're not getting rid of that. Corporate income taxes, $500 billion. They're going to need that. Gosh, student loan debt, 1.6. Guys, are y'all paying attention? Man, y'all need to be thinking about, what am I going to do? Because this is the end of the end. Like, I don't see this getting any better. This isn't a short-term trend. AI is outsourcing. The AI outsourcing is just going to continue to replace you, to replace me, to replace anybody who's got a job. So businesses, they're going to prioritize like you see UPS doing now. They took a little hit in the first quarter. They're laying off tons of people. You're going to see when the share prices go down, that's going to be perfect excuse to cut people. The cost of living will keep rising. It's been that way for the past 5 years. I don't see it trending in the opposite direction. I know they keep saying that there's going to be a housing crash. Let me let you in on what I think about that. I don't care. You know why? Because I'm not interested, if I'm you, I'm not interested in buying a house if I'm going to pay for it with the paycheck. Why? Because jobs are not secure or safe anymore. So if I'm going to buy a house with a paycheck, I might lose my job in a month. What sense that made? No. Rent until you get income from an asset. In fact, I'll show you really quickly. I'm glad I got my board. So let's get to it. I know this video is going longer than I thought it would, but I think it's going to be great for you, for everybody and I don't even know how I got to this, so somebody must have been praying about buying a house. But let me show you something. I have this formula that I call ACL. A is for asset. C is for cash flow. And L is for liability. In this case, your house that you want to buy. So asset, cash flow, liability. Asset times cash flow equals liability. I teach this to my students in the math class so they know. Asset times cash flow equals liability. So the liability is going to be the house you want to live in. I know you think that the house is not a liability, it's an asset, but the way that you determine, or the way I determine if something is an asset or a liability, it's going to be, how does the cash flow? So when the mortgage needs to be paid, are the banks paying you, or do you pay the banks? Oh, you pay the mortgage to the banks. Okay, so then the house is a liability because money comes out of your pocket. An asset puts money into your pocket. Liabilities take money out of your pocket. Now, really quickly for the smart ones in the comments, yes, if you rented the house to a tenant who paid the mortgage for you, then of course it's an asset because it makes money for you. But if you're going to buy the house to live in, bad idea. So an asset would be, for instance, me, I have a middleman business. So I'll just put middleman business, my moving service, right? So I have a middleman moving service. Let's say that thing, and you could choose any industry, but let's say I have a middleman moving service. That thing makes me something small, let's say $3,000 a month without me having to have a job or move anybody's furniture. That's all it makes. Now, so something small, right? So I use the asset. By the way, you can use money out of your savings. You can use credit. You can use whatever you can to start your business, right? That's how you should move. I know people are going to go nuts. You should never use debt to fund a business. Yes, you should. Don't be stupid. Whenever I'm around a lot of rich people in the neighborhood, they're always talking about borrowing money from their house or asset because these houses went up. They'll borrow the money to create a new asset or acquire a new asset, use the cash flow to get something else. The only people who are sitting here going, you should never get in debt, are those who listen to Dave Ramsey. And if you're bad with money, you need to listen to Dave Ramsey. But if you want to change your life, use debt to make money, not to buy stuff. Asset, middleman business. Then the middleman business, let's say, for instance, it makes me something small, $3,000 a month. Now, my mortgage on my house is, let's say, $3,000 a month. So I'm going to use the mortgage I'm going to use the asset to create the cash flow and then use the cash flow to buy the house. What don't I need if I do it this way? I don't need a paycheck. I don't need a job. And I don't need to sell my time for a little bit of money. Does that make sense? I'll let you guys screenshot it. Go ahead, get that. I should write a book about that because I don't talk about it a lot. I only really share with my family and friends. And the way I learned about that is I bought a house with a paycheck. Wasn't good. Turned out really badly. Thankfully, everything went up in cost. We sold the house. Now we use cash flow to buy what we need from the middleman business. So my solution, again, number one, create some source of cash flow that does not include your job, right? So whether it's baking cookies out of your kitchen, buying a lawnmower, cutting some lawns on the weekends, or doing what I do, start a middleman business. It doesn't really matter what it is. You just need to get in the habit of making money away from a job. But before you ask, what is a middleman business? It's just a business that connects customers with service pros. We call them ISPs, independent service pros. And as soon as we connect them, we get a deposit. So a customer needs, like for instance, I'm in moving. A lot of my students are in website design. You don't have to choose the same industry. You can choose any industry as long as it's a service. Tree removal, junk hauling, trash removal, painting, window tinting, TV mounting. I'm just trying to call out some of them. Home cleaning, a garage repair. Students do whatever they want. I got students who do party DJs for kids' parties, bounce houses for kids' party, whatever. And it's just whatever you want to do. And so you choose a middleman business that connects the customer. So if you did, say, for instance, a bounce house, and then a customer will reach out to you. I teach you how to promote your business. So a customer reaches out to you, say, hey, I'd like to have your bounce house on this day at this time. Are you available? Yes, we're available. It's going to cost you $450. And so all of a sudden, you're going to, while I'm using my board, I may as well teach you guys, right? So all of a sudden, and this is the last thing, and then I'm going to get off of here, but because I've talked to you guys about the need to have another source of income, I may as well show you what I do. And then if it's something that would work for you, maybe you should look into it. So, but really quickly, it connects customers. A middleman business is simply a middleman business that takes customers, connect them to an ISP or independent service pro, and you sit in the middle and you get paid for the connection. That's it. You don't actually do the work. So an example, like I said, would be bounce houses, which I know nothing about. But let's say you choose, hey, Shon, I want to start a middleman business for the bounce house. Okay, perfect. So you're going to choose the bounce industry. What is that called? What are those things called? I don't know. We just call them bounce house. So you choose the bounce house industry for kids. You don't own the bounce house. You don't need a truck. You don't need any of that. You're not going to leave the house. You own the bounce. So you create the business. You promote the business. A customer is going to reach out to you, and the customer is going to book with you. The customer is going to say, I need you on this day, this time, and they're going to do it on your website. So they're going to go to your website that I help you to set up if you work with me, but you can do it by yourself. They're going to put in their information and book with you. Check, booked. Then they're going to pay you a deposit. Now, I have no idea what a bounce house costs. Let's say that a bounce house is, I don't know, $450 for the whole day, right? You're going to charge the customer $450. The ISP, the person who has the bounce house, who's actually going to go out and set it up, they are willing to do the job for $300. So $450 minus 300 leaves $150. That's your DC deposit commission. So you're going to take a $150 deposit. I'm just doing numbers off the top of my head. It could be more, it could be less. You're going to take a $150 deposit that goes to you up front. And then you're going to dispatch the work, right? And if you do the full automation, like I encourage students to do, the full dispatch, all of this stuff's going to be automated. So they're going to go to your website, book on your website, put all their information in. Then it's going to say, I need a deposit to confirm this reservation. They're going to pay you $150 on your website. By the way, you don't even know the customer's on your website. You're out doing whatever you enjoy doing. That's why this is automated. That's why it's hands-free. It's hands-free. Then it's going to automatically dispatch the work. So a customer will pay me. I'll get an alert saying, hey, you made $150 today. And then I haven't even talked to the customer, by the way. It's all automated or through my VA. And then the work is going to be automatically dispatched to my ISPs here in Dallas, who are going to go out and do the moving, not me. I don't even know who got the job, right? They're going to go out and do the moving. It's going to be dispatched to an ISP who's going to go out and actually set up the bounce house, come back later that day and take it down. And you're going to get paid. You didn't do any of the work, but essentially that's what it's hands off. You don't have to talk to customers. You can hire a VA to handle all of your customer service needs, teach you how to do that. But the customer's going to go to your website, book there, pay there. The work's going to get dispatched there, and you can do whatever you want to do. In fact, if you have a day job, you can keep your day job. If you want to get away from your day job and make more, then just scale this to different cities. And I teach you how to do all of that too. Anyway, that excites me. So I get excited when I talk about creating a middleman business because I never knew that I could have this much freedom and make money while I do it. So my goal is always within 6 months to teach students how to get to about 10,000 per month so they can enjoy life. It's not going to make you rich. It's not going to make you a millionaire. But for most people, our bills are less than 10,000 a month. So if we can create a passive income that makes 10K a month and you don't have to go to work to get it, then that's easy living. So, but if that's something you want to do, click the link in the video description below or put the word middleman in the comments below. So, but now this is the time, like I said, build another stream of income before it's too late. You don't want to wait until the tsunami comes in and hits you. Then that's going to be a problem. So I'm going to be hosting a free masterclass where I'm going to teach you how to do this. And if you want to get the link to that free masterclass, it's going to be with me. Then put the word middleman in the comments below, guys. But remember, this is not to scare you. This is just to wake you up and let you know that hard times are here and even more harder times are coming. You need to be prepared before you end up in a position you don't want to be in. So my advice is to move quickly. Tell somebody else about this channel. Peace.